All right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone should have their notebook and their whiteboards ready to go. Friendly reminder, you do have a vocab, nope, you have a test tomorrow. I was going to say you have a vocab quiz tomorrow. Wouldn't that just be the best? Nope, in fact, you have a test tomorrow, 25 questions, all multiple choice, of course. Don't worry, there's pictures and charts and primaries. The world is our oyster tomorrow, so very exciting. So please make sure you're ready for that. Tomorrow on Canvas, the window to submit assignments will close at 8:30 a.m. And if you haven't looked, I also made it very clear that you are only allowed one submission on Canvas. So we are growing up here, folks. Yes? We've been practicing now, and this is our 4th week doing it. So this is happening. What do you got, Olivia? Do-nows we do in class or after. I'm not worried about do-nows. I'm talking about your focus, your and map. Because we don't have a primary this week, right? Because we didn't have school Monday, so we had no primary this week. So please keep that in mind. So everything is due at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Please make sure it's in. So if you're done, submit it now and be done with it, yeah? A lot of people have already submitted, and I've already graded a good amount of them. So please make sure. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what does Genghis Khan mean? Good. There's some right over there. Good. What does it mean, Taylor? There you go. Ruler of all. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the nickname of where the Mongols started? It is called the Asian what? Good. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Chris. Steps. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What do we call Mongol China? Come on, Michael. These are easy ones. No. What do we got? Izzy?
Yuan Dynasty.
Yuan Dynasty. What do we call Mongol Russia? Good. Joseph? Golden Horde. What do we call Mongol Persia? Good. What do we got, Catherine? Il-Ikanet, or a Persian Ikanet, anything like that, scores. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what do we call the little, this is a vocab term. What do we call the rest stops along the Silk Road? Good. What is it, Virginia?
Caravanserai.
Sounds good to me. On your whiteboard, how many miles apart are the Cambusari? Good. Why, Micah, how many? Why? Yeah, the camels can go about 100 miles, so that's why they pace them out every 100 miles. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is the name of the dude who's going to capture the Golden Horde? What is the name of the Mongol leader who will capture the Golden Horde? Good. Vital. Batu. Sounds good to me. What is the name of the Mongolian leader who is going to capture Yuan Dynasty? James, what do you got? Perfect. Show me your board next time so I don't have to ask. Well then, dude, ask for some. I got a whole bucket, remember? Yeah, so why don't you get up? Oh, you were putting everyone else's education above yours. How refreshing. In the basket. Yeah, it's on my bookcase. There's a bucket. Grab a handful. Toss them in the basket. On your whiteboard, please tell me, the Yuan Dynasty overthrows what former Chinese dynasty? Good. What do we got? Hunter. Song Dynasty. The Mongols will be overthrown, and what dynasty will replace them? Good. What do we got, Hayden? The Ming Dynasty. On your whiteboard, please tell me, the Mongols will attack 3 times what country and Japan. On your whiteboard, please tell me what city will be completely devastated by the Mongols in Persia. 200,000 people will be slaughtered in one day. Grace. Baghdad. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Nope, let's go. All right. Okay. On Friday, we started Silk Road, didn't we?
Yeah.
How wonderful. Andrew, can you tell me what was the last thing you wrote down, darling?
I talked about the juke boat.
The what?
The juke boat.
Oh, the juke boat. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, did we talk about why the juke boat is a big deal?
Yeah.
And who can raise your hand and tell me why the juke boat is a big deal? Scott.
It's like more stable, so it could like go like across like the ocean.
Okay, it's more stable. Why though?
It was like built.
How? What do we got, Andrew?
There's compartments under the deck where they keep their storage.
There you go. So it's because of the compartmentalizing of inside, okay, and which is going to reinforce the hull of the ship. Do you see all this stupid, useless information I know? So the juke is going to be reinforced from the inside because of all the compartments. You need to know that, and that's going to begin to allow it to sail rougher seas, which will allow oceanic exploration. Okay, which we're going to see here shortly. Okay, the rudder we talked about. Who can raise your hand and tell me what we wrote about the rudder, Michael?
It helps the boat steer.
Okay, and why? Well, we've had rudders before, but what makes the Chinese rudder different?
It helps them navigate easier in shallow waters.
And it allows them to more access into shallower rivers, which allow more cities and villages to be trading points. So make sure you know that. All right, good. Effects, ladies and gentlemen, should be your subheading of Silk Road. It's effects. Okay, you need to know that Kashgar and Samarkand or whatever it is, these two cities are going to be your trading capitals. Okay, so there's two things you need to know about these cities. A, they are both known as trading capitals. And which one is the Mongol capital? You have 50-50 shot, people. Hayden.
Kashgar.
No.
Alright.
Smark. That one is your Mongol capital. You need to know that. Both of these are located in the middle of the Asian continent along the actual Silk Roads, not on waterways. So make sure you know that. Okay, they are going to be the center of trade. Okay, Canvasari, which we've already kind of talked about, you need to know that they exist, but you should know that from your vocab, so I'm not going to harp on that too much. You need to know that demands of luxury goods are going to go up because of what event? Parker?
The Crusades.
The Crusades is going to lead to an increase in luxury goods, especially from Europe. However, the more luxury goods are made, more people have access to it, correct? Okay, so there's going to be more production of luxury goods. You need to know this. There's more production of luxury goods, which will increase demand as well. It's just like today with our high-end fashion designers. Ladies and gentlemen, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Dior, all of those have been around for almost 60, 70 years plus. Some have even been around for 200, 300 years. Louis Vuitton, for instance, got famous due to, who's the chick who said, let them eat cake? Marie Antoinette, thank you. That's where that Louis Vuitton, the actual person, got famous from. So these brands have been around for a very long time. But why are normal people like you and I know these brands? Izzy?
Their production of luxury goods.
Their production, do you think they've maximized it or minimized?
Maximize it.
Maximize. And if you maximize, can you cheapen some brands?
Yes.
Some products? So regular people like you and I can afford them to a degree? Yes, absolutely. So these things that used to be only for the mega wealthy and the mega rich now have become a lot more streamlined. That's why Louis Vuitton and all these huge major brands are all selling t-shirts. Why? Because they can make a ton of money off selling their label now. That's the same type of thing that's happening then. with all these brands, they're adding more luxury goods so they can sell them at cheaper prices so that the more average people can buy them. All right. You need to know that that East Asia and the Mediterranean Sea are now directly connected. You need to know that the Mediterranean Sea and East Asia are directly connected. You also need to know that the Muslims and Italians are responsible for most European trade. The Italians and Muslims are mostly responsible for all European trade. Why? Wow. Oh my God. Miss Bennett, did you see? I don't know if you noticed, but all of this stuff right here on my board. You don't need to write it down because it's my honors stuff, but it's still pretty damn good, ladies and gentlemen. This Silk Road going to Europe, because that's all they really care about, is going to be facilitated by the Italians and Muslims. The Italians and Muslims are going to make an exclusivity deal. The Muslims will only trade to the Italians, and then the Italians are the only ones trading to? No. Italians have nothing to offer the Muslims except for gold. They don't want anything else that's happening in Europe, because what's going on in Europe, people? Feudalism, nothing's really happening, everything's decentralized, it's chaos. So the only thing the Muslims want from the Italians is money, which they only want gold because their paper currency has no value. So the Italians are the ones who are facilitating all of the trade to the rest of Europe. This is why when Italy, even today in 2021, is talked about by other European nations, they talk with them with a snide sarcasm, yes? Like when they won a bunch of games in the World Cup over the summer, people treated them with complete sarcasm, yes? Everyone kind of hates Italy because the Italians are going to make so much money off of all of the goods, luxury goods being sold to Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why when you go to Italy, they just have these monstrous museums with all this incredible art. Why their churches are so insane is because they have so much money. And the real way they get all this money is by charging England, France, Germany crazy high rates of exchange. So England, France, Germany hate Italy so much and paying them these incredibly high exchange fees that they're willing to send a dude named Christopher Columbus west to go east. That's why. All these countries get so pissed off at Italy for charging crazy high rates for pepper and silk and all these other luxury goods, they're willing to do whatever it takes to avoid dealing with them. So that's why the Portuguese are going to send Vasco da Gama around the tip of Africa and see if we can just completely cut off the Italians. That's why the Spanish send Christopher Columbus to go west to hit the east. Okay? It's not because they're like, oh wow, I'll look at this new technology. It's they're like, screw you Italians, I'm not giving you any more money. And that's why. That's why there's really no place outside of Italy that speaks Italian. Because the Italians were making so much money off the Silk Road, they didn't have to invest in anything else. How did that work for them long term though? Not so good. But for a long time, they are going to be the wealthiest country in Europe. For the longest of time. And it's because of the Silk Road. Because they're going to sign an exclusive deal with the Muslims that the only large purchasing of goods, like enough goods to like fill a ship. As a European, if you show up in the Holy Land and want to buy a pound of cinnamon or something, they'll sell it to you, but they're not going to sell a whole boatload of supplies to anyone outside of Italy. You don't think that's interesting? Doesn't that make sense why the Italians have so much more crap than anywhere else? It's because they're making so much money off this. And that's why everyone treats them with sarcasm. Alright. Okay, more facts. You need to know that China is going to develop a money economy or a paper currency. Why do they need a paper currency? Why? Why, Friar?
To make trade easier so everyone has the same currency.
No. It's about making things easier, but not so they're all in the same currency. Is he?
They wouldn't have to carry around shells as trading coins.
That's not the problem. Do you tell?
Wasn't that like the copper coins?
Yeah, it's the coins. It's the coins. Guys, have you ever held like $30 worth of coins? Hello? It's heavy. It's real heavy real quick. Like, if you ever rolled coins before with like your grandparents or something? No? Have you ever held a coin before? Okay, thank God. So the way some of you are looking at me, like, what is she talking about? Well, you take coins and you can roll them up, and that's how you can give them to a bank, because you can't just give bank loose change. Yes, they won't accept it. So if you roll it up, making $100 out of change weighs a ton. It's so heavy. So imagine carrying thousands of dollars in change. Okay? Have you ever seen some people pay their last like divorce alimony payment in like pennies and stuff? Yes? Okay, and it takes a dump truck, which is so rude. It is so rude. But people sometimes do. It's on the internet. You can look. It's crazy heavy. That makes it very dangerous for the carriers because A, it takes up so much space. It takes a ton of horses. So they do paper to make it easier to carry around, and it's easier to hide. Yes? Okay? Okay, you do need to know credit is called flying cash, which you should know this from your definitions. The Muslims are going to really facilitate the credit. This will be the foundation of our financial economy. You are smart enough to know that your credit score is the most important thing to you, yes? It is more important than your social security number because it is access to everything for you, yes? Okay, so your credit score, which is out of 850, goes 0 to 850, is going to dictate how easy your life is. Can you buy a house? Can you buy a car? What type of loans you can get for your children? All of those things are all based on your credit score and how high you keep it. With that being said, that whole idea of having credit or being able to take money out and loans and all that stuff is all created by the Muslims. Why? Because they needed quick exchanges. Okay? You need banking houses as well. Banking houses are banks where you could take a title or a check from one bank and go to another. So you could deposit something in the Middle East and then carry the note, the banking note, all the way across Asia and show up to an Asian bank and say, hey, I need my $1,000 out. That's the foundation of the banking system is created during this time as well. Why did they want to do all these things? What is the point? What is the point, Henry?
To make trade easier so that more people start trading.
Okay, it is going to do that, but it also is really about what? It makes it easier so more people are getting involved, but more people are going to get involved because it keeps people... Guys, if you're walking around with thousands of dollars... Hi, if you pull out $200, $400 in your pocket right now, what do you know is definitely going to happen by the end of the day? Yeah, someone's going to steal it from you, right? Especially if it's cash, someone's going to steal it from you. No doubt. By having all of this paper currency and having these banking houses, it keeps traders safe. It keeps traders safe, which is going to mean we're going to have more traders because it is safe. Does that make sense? Okay, it's a safety issue that they want to facilitate. If it's safe, more people are going to do. Oh my God, stop impurity, you make this so hard. All right, Indian Ocean Basin is your next one.
Next subheading or like actual heading?
It's an actual heading. It's the. Have you not done your focus yet, girl?
I've done like the first 2 pages.
Okay, well it's a whole chapter in yours text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, Indian Ocean. You need to know that in all trade routes, I put a store next to this, in all trade routes, Islam is the most popular religion. Who can raise your hand and tell me why? Virginia.
It encouraged merchants.
Yes, it is all about merchants because the Prophet Muhammad, before he was the prophet, was a?
Merchant.
He's a merchant, yeah. So Islam is super pro-merchants. It's pro-travel. It's pro-merchants. It makes it easy that you can easily do it on the side of the Silk Road, or you can do it on a ship. All of these things make it very easy to do. Christianity is not very easy to do because in Christianity, especially during this time, you had to pray in a church. That was the only way you could really communicate is to pray in church. There is no guidelines for that in Islam. Just so you know. All right, You need to know, of course, that the Indian Ocean Basin connects China, South Asia, and Africa. You should all know this by now because we've talked about it 1,000 times. Okay, major trade technology. Trade technology. You need to know monsoon winds. What are monsoon winds, James?
Like winds that go different ways in the winter and the summer.
Yep, they are seasonal winds that allow or facilitate Indian Ocean trade. If you don't know what monsoon winds are by now, like there's nothing I could do for you. However, the rest of these inventions are new. You need to know the Latin or triangle sail. What's its purpose? What does it do? Parker?
Can it like catch winds from different directions?
Yes.
Just like travel easy?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off, Parker, because this has upset me in my last class. Hello. Please look at me. This is actually really important that if we don't understand, we're screwed. You do know all of our ships are sailing by wind power, right? Someone asked me, well, why didn't they just use the motor? Our first motorized boat isn't going to happen until 1782. Yeah. We're not even in the 1400s yet, so we're still doing wind power, yes? Okay, as long as we all got that clear. So, monsoon winds is how we're doing it. Latin sail. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the wind is going in the wrong direction, what do you do on your boat?
Wouldn't say.
You sit there. Or, Miss Bennett. Logan? Yes. Yes. Sorry. Whoever that was thinks I'm an idiot. Yes, Logan, you're gone. Goodbye. Okay, so Latin sail. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the wind going in the wrong direction, you lower your sail so you don't get blown backwards, yes? So you're just sitting there waiting for it. With a Latin sail, don't ask me how, I'm not really sure. They can adjust the triangle sail enough that they can always keep moving. Okay, they can catch enough wind to keep going in the basic direction they're trying to. So no matter what, they're moving in the right direction 90% of the time instead of like down to like 40% of the time. Don't ask me how it works. I'm not really sure, but that's what you need to know. Stern rudders.
Where am I going? Home?
You're going home. Stern rudders are going to allow for better navigation in ports, which means more ships can be there. Okay? Astrolabe, you need to put a big box around this one. This one is a doozy and is going to keep coming back. Astrolabe uses stars and the horizon. Michael, write this down. I'm not doing this for my health, dude. Astrolabe uses stars and the horizon for navigation. Okay? This will allow for oceanic voyages. Without the astrolabe, it couldn't happen. So before the astrolabe, what were people doing? Come on, how did they navigate?
Sun.
No. Izzy?
The North Star.
No. All that stuff is kind of astrolabe. They knew the north, kind of stuff like that. They were doing by sights along shores. So could boats travel far offshore? Could boats do oceanic voyages? No, because they're waiting for indications along the coastlines, yeah? Okay, they're waiting for certain landmarkers and stuff like that. And yes, of course, they're using the North Star. We do have a magnetic compass, but we're kind of doing that way. But to do the finesse of knowing exactly where you're going is going to require the astrolabe. Without the astrolabe, we would never have had transoceanic voyages. We would have never made it across the Atlantic Ocean and opened up the whole new world, okay? That is a huge invention. That is the only way we can do it. Same thing with Vasco da Gama going around the Horn of Africa. Without the astrolabe, it could not be done. So the age of exploration is completely and utterly dependent on the astrolabe, which is coming up here pretty quick. And then the Chinese juke. This is the first oceanic worthy boat. And that's a huge deal because it'll lay the foundation for what will eventually become the Spanish galleons. Yes? Those are the ones that everyone's going to use to cross the Atlantic here very shortly. All right. Here we go. You do need to know that maritime trade is cheaper than land-based trade. Why? It's obvious and simple, so don't make it harder. Why? What do you got, Hayden?
Is it like faster?
It's faster if the wind's going, but also you can carry more crap, yes? The more stuff you carry, the easier it is to sell, and the more money you can make. Okay, you need to know India is known for its cotton, leather, stonework, and spices, specifically pepper. Specifically pepper. That is the most popular item on the Silk Road is pepper. Okay, and the major city for India is Calcutta. Okay, Calcutta is the spice capital. I would note that as well. Okay, Malaysia and Indonesia are known as the Spice Islands. This is where you're getting cardamom. This is where you're getting nutmeg, cinnamon. You're getting allspice. All of the things that you really think of when you're in your spice cabinet are probably coming from Malaysia and Indonesia, except for like pepper. Pepper's coming from India.
What's pepper?
The black pepper that's sitting on your kitchen table,
Yeah.
that's pepper.
When you say like, what is it made of?
It's actually kind of cool. So it grows in like this big like walnut looking thing, but it's like 4 times the size of a walnut, and it falls to the ground, and then you harvest it from the ground, and then you open it, and then they have all the peppercorns inside, and then you roast them up, like heat them up, and then you can grind them. It's pretty cool. Cinnamon. Did you know cinnamon is bark?
No.
Yeah, it's bark of a tree. They shave like tree, and that's how you get cinnamon sticks. It's awesome. It's so cool. Anyway, African Swahili coast. You need to know the Swahili coast are known for their ivory, their gold, and their slaves. Yeah, there's like cinnamon forests in Malaysia. Like just trees, or like trees on trees on trees of cinnamon. Can you imagine living in a world where there was no cinnamon? Because Europe didn't get it until like the 1600s, and it was so expensive that only kings and queens were using it. Wild. Okay, China. You need to know their silk and porcelains, and then Southwest Asia, you need to know they're doing horses, figs, and dates. Those are their big items. So, in case you haven't been looking at my pictures, and I have one here, this is a stone temple that blends both Buddhist and Islamic thoughts in India, because Islam and Hinduism are going to be there, as well as Buddhism, and it's going to blend all of them. We'll study it in Ren's class. We need to have, I have a couple things I gotta tell you here, but this is in Africa, and you're gonna study this mosque in Africa. And it's on your Swahili coast, obviously, because it's a ton of Islamic. I guess it could be in West Africa too. But it is going to blend both African traditions, which is the structure style, with Islamic things. Isn't that cool? Anyway, if you're in AP Art History, you're going to learn all about it. But so anyway, you need to put a big star that Dysphoric Communities will be facilitating worldwide trade. What's a dysphoric community? What's a dysphoric? Oh my God, I did this day 2. Andrew.
A group of people who are basically forced out of a.
Perfect. Forced out of their homelands. And give me an example of them, Andrew. Jews, absolutely. They're going to be kicked out of Europe, and they're going to go to the Islamic caliphates, yes? And they're going to learn how to trade. The Jews are huge traders. You need to know that Muslims in India are going to be huge traders. Okay, these are the dysphoric communities we're talking about. They are going to be kicked out of their homeland, so they're like, fine, if we're not even going to be able to be home, we might as well be trading. And that is going to be where most of the populations are coming from. You also need to know that intermarriage is going to be a huge reason for cultural diffusion. So all of these traders, they're going to go to these wild places, Africa, India, China, and they're going to fall in love with the locals. And the locals want these traders to fall in love with the local girls, because that means they're going to keep coming back, yes? Okay, that intermarriage is what is going to create cultural diversity, which you better be writing down, and it's going to continue to stimulate further trade. So having intermarriages between traders and locals is going to facilitate a whole new trading system. Alright. Okay, so some important Dysphoric communities, Arab and Persian communities in East Africa. They're not going to be home, they're not going to be treated as well. Chinese merchant communities in Southeast Asia, we're going to see some discrimination there. And Malaysian communities. Alright. Okay, major cities you need to know about in the Indian Ocean Basin. Okay, you need to know this city, actually before we get going, you need to know that trade makes governments more powerful. Who can explain why? Why does trade make a government more help me, Wesley.
And they said, ask people why you're upset because they have no record of things being signed out.
And who just called me to tell you
I know,
you're
that's
getting
what
signed out?
That's what I said. They're like, I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
They said come like ask you and then come back.
Call your mom. Is your mom?
I did. She's like, you have numbers and mine's gonna.
Okay, come in. I'm so sorry.
We'll have to go back and.
Someone called me. I don't know. They don't.
Okay.
They don't identify themselves. This is bizarre.
I know.
Just come in and sit.
Okay.
We'll figure it. They'll figure it out.
That's weird. So they, my teacher last period told me that the computer said that I got signed out at 11:30 or something.
You heard.
And they were like, someone with the last name of Logan got signed out. It wasn't Jory. Like I made sure. But I don't know. They must have messed up or something.
I have no idea. You heard. I related the
No,
information.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
All right, Malacca. You need to know, Wesley. Why are governments wealthier if they trade? They have more.
Materials and they get more from merchants because more people come to their communities.
Yeah, guys. The more money a country has, the more powerful they are. Yeah. Okay. So the more centralized they are. So stronger state governments are going to be found in countries that have more trade. So Malacca, you need to know, is special because they don't have any imports or exports. All they do is tax ships using the Strait of Malacca. They're still doing it today. And they make millions, probably billions at this point. Okay? They make billions a year. So Malacca, you just need to know that they are charging ships a tax to use the strait. Calcutta, you need to know that they are a spice port. Okay, Swahili city-states, you need to know that they're gold, ivory, and slaves. I'm fine if you don't write down that one because I already covered it. But Jarat, or whatever. You need to know that it is going to be the central point between Africa and China. And because it's like the middle ground between these two massive hubs, it becomes like the center of Indian Ocean Basin trade. So Jarat, right here, you need to know becomes like the center of Indian Ocean Basin trade just because of its location. It's pretty much in the center. So you need to know India has two major cities. The first one is Calcutta, and it is known for its spices. You need to know the second one is Jarat, and it is because of its location. It's the nice go-between port between the east and the west. So it keeps things nice and easy. Okay, over here, this temple is in India. As we know, India has two major trading cities, major trading ports. So is India doing well or poorly? They're doing incredibly well. This is a Hindu temple for water. Okay, and it was one of the largest in the world, and that's how wealthy they are, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much money they got going on. Perfect. That's it. We finished content. Isn't that exciting? Okay, now, please listen. I've been looking at your test all day. I have it right here. How exciting. And honestly, I really don't think this week is that bad for a couple of reasons. I see you, Hayden. Okay, I really don't think it's that bad because half of this content, you already should know the Indian Ocean Basin and the Silk Road stuff. Can we agree? We've just already laid that foundation 1,000 times, it feels like at this point. We've just added a little bit more sophistication on top, yes? So it shouldn't be that tricky. So looking at your test, I mean, I think it's definitely easier than last week. Does that make you feel better? I think it's definitely easier than last week because really the only new flat out content is your Mongols. Can we agree? So it's that sophistication of understanding the connectivity between the Silk Road and the Indian Ocean Basin trade. If you have a pretty good grasp of those pieces, then you should really be okay. Now, as you can see, I have a picture. I've got a bunch of maps this week. Isn't that exciting? Another picture. Okay, we have a primary. Okay, another map and a primary. And another 2 sets of pictures to compare, and then another big primary. So that's literally your test for tomorrow. I do think it's fair. I do think it's a pretty good comparison of the whole thing, and I can't even keep James's attention even when I'm showing him the test. Wild. Nothing will make him pay attention, huh, James? Not even seeing the test? I can't even believe it. Okay, so you have 25 questions, all multiple choice. As you see, you have a lot more maps on it than usual. But who doesn't love a good map? Oh, I love maps. Come on, I know you love map day. Come on now. Questions, concerns, because I'm going to do some whiteboards here in a second. Because how much longer do I have?
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Perfect. I can do boards for 2 minutes. On your whiteboard, please tell me what Indian city is known for its spices. Good. What do we got? Micah. Okay. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is going to facilitate worldwide trade in social situations. What will facilitate trade? What will ensure and trade will return? Good. What is it, Henry? Intermarriage is the best way to shore up trade. On your whiteboard, please tell me what religion is the most popular religion being traded along all roads. Good. Catherine. Islam. On your whiteboard, please tell me what country is charging a taxes, and that's how they make their money. No. What do you got? You tell. Malacca. They're only doing a tax because the Italians, they've signed an exclusivity, but they're still trading. Does that make sense? They're buying goods and selling goods. There's a trade. In Malacca, they're not buying or trading anything. They're just literally sitting there with a police force saying you can't come in until you pay us. Okay, someone was like, well, why would people pay it? It's like using the expressway. How many times do your parents use the expressway? All the time. They're willing to pay 75 cents every single time they get on it, or 70 cents, I think, to get on it and use it because they just want to get there faster. That's the Strait of Malacca. People are going to pay it in order to get through faster and get home or wherever they're going.
Do you know how much it is?
70 cents?
No, like the Strait of Malacca is still 70 cents.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. I have no idea. You can Google it. I mean, they're still doing the same thing. See ya! Yes. Those are for my honors class. It just happens to overlap. It happens like 4 times a year. So it's pretty exciting. However, it does